Generic Disaster is Dragia's game's newest entry on Switch. This cooperative roguelike shmup with anthropomorphic animals is all about its procedurally generated gameplay and having fun with friends. Let's get this out of the way early. There's not much of a story here. You're making an escape by clearing out an evil scientist's mansion/dungeon, and that's about it. This top-down action shooter isn't bogged down by anything that would hamper its easy to pick up gameplay experience. Each of the 12 levels are sectioned off into rooms where you'll either be coming across enemies and traps to take down or disable accordingly. Starting each of your run, you're granted passive abilities randomly, anything from a stronger melee attack, faster reloading, being a bit faster than usual, and anything in between. There's 50 of these mutations in total that you can also expand upon at the end of a level by spending some currency you earn. Having the knowledge on what each of them does and how they synergize with each other will prolong any and all runs. Another thing that's handed to you randomly are the weapons. Each of them have a very specific look and feel to them, from your standard shotguns to SMGs to some bizarre laser cannons. There's 70 in total. An interesting quirk layered on top of all of this are the mutation cycles on the upper right. Basically, there's a meter occasionally spinning, and once it lands on something, it triggers a modifier for the gameplay. For example, enemies will leave behind explosives for AoE damage, or bullets now have a bounce effect on them or a burning DOT. It gives you another creative layer for the traditional RNG gameplay that can be a boon or a detriment. Co-op is inviting, but it can also make things very difficult since not all the playable characters are capable for handling the onslaught. There's a PvP mode called Stool Wars for 2 to 4 player versus that's fun for a few minutes, but it's not very deep. The issue with Generic Disaster is that ultimately gameplay feels repetitive in both look and feel. Buying a lot is expected, but this forces you to see the same environments often enough to make the same experience drag out. Some enemies just feel cheap, and that's just kind of the way it is. Generic Disaster puts all of its eggs in the co-op fun aspect, and for the most part it lands. However, it's bogged down by some repetitive gameplay aspects that hinder its replayability. Nintendo Sphere gives Generic Disaster on Switch a 6 out of 10. If you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya!